Barbara?
From Barbara, because Barbara was across at his workshop.
Right. Okay, we're going to go live, and I'm going to just say hello, everybody. It's good to see you. We're just having a great discussion, just going on, and we just talked about how Paul kind of forgot yesterday, and I didn't forget. I just wasn't paying attention to the timer. Anyway, I've got Ruby and Wayne with me. They're here along just to support
Evening,
and help you
guys.
all out, help me out. Let me say something right off the bat. So I don't forget, because I'll probably forget after a while. I'm going to use some colors and just part of our discussion. First place I ever saw these colors, the only reason I know anything about them is because I saw it on Wayne the Woodturner's live several years ago. And I bought the paints and I've used them 2, 3 times way back when. Kind of forgot that I used them. But I thought as we're finishing up coloring, I wanted to use them one more time just to show you guys these colors. So I'll talk more about the colors when we get there. So I'm going to put.
I'd even forgot that I'd used them.
He asked me, what? What colors? And I said the wrong name the first time. They are space dust colors. So anyway, we'll talk more about them here in just a minute. I'm going to put these guys in the background and show you what we're going to work on, and then we're going to let Wayne and Ruby fight it out who gets to tell you who all's in the chat. Anyway,
I don't fight with Ruby.
You just do it.
Yeah.
I've got a piece of wood here. If I turn it that way, you can actually see it. I think it's labeled basswood. I'm going to assume that's what it is. It's kind of featureless, to tell you the truth. It
Very
is
light.
Yeah, well, fairly light. Yeah, it's not like balsa wood, but it's fairly light. About 7.5 inches square by right at 3 inches thick. We'll turn a simple bowl. I want a little bit of a rim left on it, so I can have a place to put the colors on. So I'm going to get this mounted in the lathe, and we'll get going. And while I'm doing all this, these guys will share with you who all's in the chat.
Very similar to lime, or it is the same type of wood as lime basswood
It,
is.
it's the same. It's the same family. Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so who have we got in? Val's here. Evening, Val. Obviously, Ruby's in. Let's start going down because Ruby and Val were having a chat about Dundee. Deal's in. Evening, Deal. Karsten's in. Evening, Karsten.
Hi, Karsten. And yes, Karsten, you have my permission to copy those sheets I sent you.
Okay, Rob from Copperell's here. Roger Wallam's in. Paul Norfolk Hunter. I'm still going down. This chat will start jumping in a minute. Malcolm Douglas is here.
Todd at Glencoe.
Todd's here. I said it was going to start jumping. Al's in. Hi, Al. Michael McEwen. Mike's in from Dances with Aardvarks.
Hi, Mike.
I'm still going down. Don't worry, I'll get there. Thomas Kenny's in. Vinnie Charlton.
And Chris Charlton.
Chris Charlton. Mike Yu from Ilminster. Ronald Todd from the West Bank of New Jersey. Johnny Foster. Johnny, we're doing some colouring tonight. Are you on a break at the moment? Are you still at work? Anthony Green's in.
Did you get the small woodlot?
I don't know if I'm that far down yet, to tell you the truth, Ruby. Mr. G's Woodturner's here. Bert's Balls is here. Heather's in. Ian Wallace. Vineyard Farmhouse. Roger Kent. The small woodlot. Yeah, there he is. I must be nearly down at the bottom now. Yeah, Mike Wood. Yeah, basswood is another name for lime.
Very good for carving.
Haley's in. Hi, Haley.
Hi, Haley.
I was just going to say it's generally good for carving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to use a lot of lime wood making bananas on the bandsaw.
Mm-hmm.
I found it very good, and it did actually colour well to make the colour for the bananas as well.
The Small Woodlot said he watched my bat and ball video from a few years ago. I hope you enjoyed it okay. Unfortunately, I didn't use a very good piece of wood for making that piece.
Right, Haley is juggling watching us on her phone and Martin on her laptop. Right, that's me down at the bottom. I think I got everybody. If I have missed you out, I do apologise. Put something in the comment, and I'm sure I'll catch up with you.
All right. And for y'all that don't know, the vineyard is Brian. Small Woodlot is Pat.
And Brian at Hardwood's in as well. Good evening, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Just trying to get this rough down to round so we can have some fun with it. We're almost there. A little flat there and there.
And the Dutchman's Woodchuck has just come in as well.
Hey.
He's making a bowl from some, a wide rim bowl from some basswood.
And the professor just come in.
Hey, Prof, haven't seen you in a while.
All right. Cuts pretty nicely. End grain could use a little more work, and that just could be a directional thing. But the side grain it cuts real nice.
It is quite open grained, that basswood, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very.
Yeah.
yeah, that's part of it as well. Get my tool rest turned around here. We'll go ahead and knock the bottom back to where
Right.
we want it.
Karsten is asking me. He said he's just watched the video of when I visited Glyn and turned the huge ash bowl. It was actually a piece of ash. That must have been a few weeks before COVID hit. Did it ever get finished? I can't remember actually when that was now. It did get returned. Steve SK Crafts, I can't remember if Brian went across. Mark went up. I think Terry might have gone up as well. I think Jennifer and her husband Mark went there as well. So it got returned the second time, and as far as I'm aware, it has actually moved yet again because it was very, very wet when we started it. It has actually moved yet again. I don't actually think it's been finished. And Mama Sneaks is here.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, sorry, Ruby.
Well, that's okay. Great minds think alike at the same time.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to see the prof is still here. We've been getting a lot of snow and cold weather.
And Ruben's in. Ruben Woodcraft's in. Hiya, Ruben.
How to do?
Ruben?
Give myself a mark so I know how big or small my tenon needs to be.
I'll let you. I'll let you do that one, Ruby.
Great. When I said great minds think alike, he was thinking, I'm not going to say the fools rarely differ too. You're absolutely right.
And Todd of Glen Cove is asking, if you return a bull, do you get your money back?
I wish.
And Mike's saying we had the beast from the east for a few days, but it was a bit warmer today. Yeah,
Okay.
the weather has been coming to us from the European continent for a few days, but it's starting to come back in from the Atlantic now.
Well, we had a lot of ice storms followed by 3 good-sized dumps of snow. And right now we're in for a week of very cold weather, and then it's going to warm up a little bit. But I was okay because Maggie Dog helped me shovel out the driveway and the sidewalks.
All right. Using my half-inch skew to finalize my tenon here. In fact, I could change it back over to my end camera, and you can see what I'm doing. Sort of, kind of.
Not really.
Not really. There we go. Like I said, just use my half-inch skew as a negative rake scraper, laying it on its side, going straight in at the angle so that the tip of my skew forms just an ever so slight dovetail. And then we can come back to the ball gouge. Drop my tool rest back down. Bring it around a little bit too.
The Vineyard Farmhouse says they're dealing with single digits and teens right now, so it's kind of hard to work in the shop with that cold. That's why I moved my whole shop into the basement of my house. Now I use my shop for outside for storing wood.
Yeah, there's a lot of weather stuff coming through at the moment in the chat.
Well, it is winter, and the one thing that I've really noticed is all of those people talking about global warming have been very quiet of late.
Yeah. Paul Norfolk is said that's it. He said there's too much light from that angle. It is getting a little bit bleached out, Doug.
Okay, I'm trying to look and see what camera or what light might be causing that. Might be this one. Is that better? That's a little better, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the Dutchman's Woodshack has said his shop will be closed for 6 weeks as he's going for surgery on Monday for a hip replacement.
Well, we wish you a speedy recovery from that.
Absolutely. I've not had a hip replacement. I've known a number of people who have, and let me just say, it will hurt, but get out of bed is the first time they ask you to try. It's like I said, it's not easy. You won't want to, but you'll be better off.
I think these days with hip replacements, they'll have you out of bed the next day.
Yeah.
The same day.
Yeah.
Oh, the same day, yeah, depending on what time the operation was.
Chris Charlton said he made himself some sanding arbors, mandrels today, and an inertia sander as well. Good for you, Chris.
Oh, tremendous.
Nice one, Chris.
That's something I need to do. I need to make an inertia sander or two. I've got one. You've seen it before. There it is. There's my handle. Mine comes straight out the end, and that has worked fine. I'm going to do another one where on one end it comes out the end, and on the other end comes out at a 45.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be even handier.
Now, Todd has suggested that the Dutchman can spend downtime watching lots of wood turning videos,
There you go.
to which he responded, heck, he might learn something.
You never know. You never know.
Malcolm said he had a knee replacement about 10 months ago. He's just getting back to normal now.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to replace my knees about close to 40 years ago, and I said no back then, and I'll just live with the pain.
All right, I'm taking the opportunity to go ahead and not finish the bottom, but I'm a whole lot closer than I was. Rounding off, making myself just a little bit of a foot here. Let's see, I need my detail gouge to get in there.
Now, Mike has said he tried making a thread chasing tool out of a thread pitch gauge and some bar. An idea that didn't work, but might be made to work. A thread pitch gauge, I wouldn't think the steel is hard enough, to tell you the truth.
I wouldn't think so. Could be.
For what the tools cost, it's a lot cheaper to just go and buy a set of thread chasers.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't buy a set of really fine ones. If you get them too fine, unless you're using a very dense wood, they'll just tend to tear up the wood.
Yeah, if you there's various videos to watch. Alan Batty's is one on thread chasing. I'm sure Terry Bray has done a couple on thread chasing, and they tend to recommend. I'm sure Alan recommended 16 TPI, and I'm pretty sure Terry did as well.
That seems to be the common um, suggestion. Is 16.
Oh, right. No, right. Lucy's just come in. Good evening, Lucy. But Mike has come back with Sterriton, Moore, and Wright. Those ones, the thread gauges are hardened. He did look at that.
Okay. The wood, by the way, that Doug is using right now is basswood. And it was Alan Batty that I learned how to thread chase from.
Yeah, he did a lot, didn't he? Of course, he did a lot of everything.
Walt Wybrew's just come in as well.
Hey, you Walt. Walt, I have not forgotten you, buddy.
Susie's just come in as well.
Susie.
I was just starting to say, Walt and I have arranged a wood swap, and he sent his. I've already gotten it. Haven't turned it, but I've gotten it. And I've just, between life and being sick all last week, I just have not gotten that out to you. So I will be getting that out. In fact, after we get done here, I will cut it and get it in the box and go in the mail tomorrow. Now that we're feeling a little better.
Yeah, I was quite pleased to see your video on doing the rolling pin. That was an indication you were starting to feel better.
Well, the rolling pin was actually, I was turning it when I started feeling sick. That was Saturday week ago.
But finishing it up meant you were on the mend.
It wasn't that I forgot it. Time just slipped up on me. And so, Saturday a week ago, I was not feeling very well. I thought I might be getting something. Lo and behold, I did. First cold I've had in a couple of years, and I just don't get sick. And when I do, I'm so not used to being sick that it really takes me out for a little while.
And Alan Smith has joined us. Welcome, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
Evening, Alan.
And if we've missed anyone else, we do apologize and know that you're all welcome. Even Eric is welcome. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Evening, Eric.
You say Eric, and I have not heard that Zed is in. I'm glad, Eric Winkler, I'm glad you are here. But that just reminds me of Zed, and we've not heard any bad jokes yet, so I'm assuming Zed's not here.
No, Zed's not here at the moment.
If he was, I have one I could give him.
Okay, this gets us up to, I don't know, what is 240? So that's where we're going to stop on this for right now. Turn that off. I can raise my face shield. In fact, I'll take it off for a minute. Let's come back. In fact, let's not. Let's do this. This is some Axe First Step, which is a tung oil paste. I'll put it on and while I'm kind of getting ready to do the other side, this can set up and soak into the wood and be ready to be buffed off here in just a little bit. It's not, this stuff is not like putting on just tung oil. Tung oil really takes several hours to set up. This has tung oil in it with a little bit of beeswax, not very much, just enough to make it a paste. So give it about 20 minutes to, it doesn't take that long. Well, yeah, you should give it 20 minutes or longer for the oil to sink into the wood. We're going to give it 5 to 10 while we're getting it ready to turn the other side. But I wanted some protection on this because we're going to paint the rim on the other side once it's ready.
Okay. Now, Todd at Glen Cove has just given us some really good news. If you watch the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, you might be entitled to compensation. That would be absolutely wonderful because it had to be the worst halftime show I've ever in my life seen.
I don't know. There have been some pretty bad ones.
No, this was really bad.
Yeah, it was. I have
Frederick
to admit,
Day's just come in as well from
Hi, Fred.
I don't think I said welcome everybody. It's I'm glad everybody's here. It's a good day. It's a good day. Sun is shining. It's cold outside, but the sun is shining. I've got
Doug,
a
Todd is backstage. He's managed to get home. I meant to say that Todd had just come into the chat.
And Heather has just shared that an infrared sauna will cure the tung oil fast.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And not the one I thought she was using.
Hello. Doug,
Hi, Todd. Glad to see you.
What'd you say, Todd?
I said you've changed to the 4-person view.
Yeah.
Well, okay, cool. I'm here.
That's the way it works.
You can start now. All the good stuff happens now.
Well, we're glad you were able to come and join us. Your dad doing okay?
My dad is doing fantastic. It's,
great.
Sitting around chatting with him and just enjoying time, and looked over and it was like 5 to 2. And I was like, I think I'm going to go home so I can get online.
There you go. We're glad to have you. Turn in some basswood, and I'm going to flatten the top, and then we're going to do a little painting before we actually hollow the bowl out. But we need a good flat, not a flat, but.
And Dale made a good point. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, folks. And if you aren't subscribed, please do.
Yeah, Clint's in. Clint the Wood Dancers is in.
Hi, Clint.
Okay, we're not quite there, but close enough where I can start shaping it. I'm going to give it just a little shape.
Are you going to be texturing this at all?
No, I'm not going to texture. Just a little roundness, little convexness to the rim. And believe it or not, that's all we're going to do. I'm going to chamfer off that edge so it's not sharp. I just noticed a while ago my 2 cuts on my left forearm have pretty well healed now. That was, both of them were from sharp wood. They about wore me out. Okay, let's see. Before I turn that off, get a clean paper towel here, and we're going to buff this backside. Here we go.
And Todd's asking, is smooth the texture?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Very good question.
Very smooth.
Now, when you talk about getting damage from the wood, I found on my left wrist bone that I was getting a lot of abrasions there, and it was all from the wood coming off of the tool.
Yes. Get this rim a little sandy sand before we.
And Chris is in. Chris Bailey's in.
Hey, Chris. Have not checked my mail today, Chris, so I don't know if I've gotten a package from you today or not.
Now, you've left a little bead on the very top edge.
No, that's what you're seeing is the difference between the edge where I've got that tung oil finish and the raw wood.
Okay. Just from overhead, that was the way it looked.
Yeah. Well, now the rim itself is slightly beaded. It's rounded.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's just to give it a little shape instead of just being so stinking flat. I don't know. When I first started 25 plus years ago.
Right, Ruben's having to leave. He's having internet issues.
All right, Ruben. Maybe you can come straighten out and come back. There was a fella. Lived out in Arizona. I think he's dead now. But he was one of the old guys. Helped bring bowl turning back from just about extinction. He was one of those guys who they didn't have wood turning or bowl turning tools, so he used to go to the junkyard and buy spring steel and make his own tools. Well, anyway, his philosophy was we're turning round objects. They should never, ever have a flat surface to them. And so that has kind of been set into my mind. I don't like a flat rim. So anyway, want to use a little.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I think Jimmy Clue says something like that as well.
He probably
does. That was the thought we were taught way back in the day. Now, Eric's brought up a good question. Is it better to leave ironwood natural and buff or try to find a finish that adheres well? Ironwood, in my experience, doesn't take a finish very well at all. And I found a good hard wax like a Carnauba works best on it.
Okay. Now, if you notice what Doug's doing here, when he's using that spray on black, he's going towards the opposite side from where he's standing.
Yep.
And the reason behind that, I use that same technique as well. And the reason behind that is that you don't get any overspray on the bottom part of the bowl. It's the same when you do it. I think Doug's going to be using an airbrush as well. And it's the same when you're using an airbrush. If you do it on the opposite side of where you're standing, you're actually spraying just on the rim part. You tend not to get any overspray on the underside of the bowl.
That whole rim is left clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he might have to touch it with sandpaper to just really sharpen up that edge, but it shouldn't have bleeded over. That's good observation.
you
Yeah,
should
and
be able to see it pretty well.
the other thing is when you put okay, Doug's used it's the tongue oil and wax that is used on the underside there. But if you do use a wax finish and you do get some overspray, it's very easy to clear off because the
Yeah.
wax is on there and the paint is actually going on top of the wax.
Absolutely. That's the whole idea. You spray here, you're going to get stuff on the back side. If I spray there, it's going off instead of coming around and getting on it. Just using my hair dryer. I've got it about 12 inches away. It is on full heat, but this is some gloss enamel black. That just helps. This is a metallic semi-iridescent paint, and they even tell you on the bottle to put it on a gloss paint or a
Now,
gloss black.
Chris is asking how else would he have sprayed it? He could have sprayed it with the lathe running.
Yeah.
He could have sprayed it actually head on, so you're spraying directly onto the piece with the lathe running, but there's still a chance of getting overspray on the underside.
Right.
And Mike is asking, is that a heat gun or the wife's hairdryer, Doug?
It used to be the wife's hair dryer. She bought it. She thought this one was going out. It didn't. I'm still using it. But she got herself a new one and gave me this one. And so kind of the same with the brush that I use for my chameleon powders. It's a makeup brush. I bought a brand new makeup brush just to use here in the shop. And she
Yep.
said, you could have used one of my old ones. I said, well, if you want this new one, I'll be glad to swap with you.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
she took my new one,
I
washed out
went
one of her old ones. And
yeah, I bought a new set of makeup brushes just purely used for the chameleon powders.
yeah.
Oh, my husband doesn't use makeup brushes or hair dryers, so
I got just a little extra paint on there, so we'll have to fix that.
Another thing to remember is whenever you're using either a hairbrush or a hot air gun, before you start using it on the piece, point it away from the piece so it gets rid of any dust inside.
Right.
yes.
I'll turn it on, pointing at the floor, and sit there and wipe it off, get all the exterior dust off of it.
Now, Mike says most engineers use the wife's toothbrush for cleaning small metal parts.
You don't tell that part.
Not a good idea, Mike.
All right. This will probably mess up this piece of sandpaper, but that's what sandpaper's for. To use, mess it up, get a fresh piece.
Use it like somebody else is paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you guys a secret, because I know there's not that many people on here, so I'll go ahead and tell everybody. 2-inch squares. If I were to buy 2-inch circles, they would be anything from 30 cents to 50 cents a piece. Because that's a square, that helps you know that I bought a large sheet, 3 feet by 3 feet, and I cut them myself. I put an old bandsaw blade on my bandsaw and cut those sheets down to 2-inch strips, cut the strips into 2-inch squares. I figured it up the other day. I pay 7 cents a piece for those. So it's a pretty good price.
Frederick Day said, I was surprised at the
Chameleon.
the multicolored powders last. They go a long way. Yeah, you're
They
right.
really do. They really
No, the
do.
thing that what Doug was saying just there, I do a similar type thing. I've got all my abrasives either in sheets or on rolls, and even when I'm power sanding, I always use a square and never use a circle.
All right, that's 2 grits. I'm going to replace. Blow those off. Put a little more paint on there. I've only got 3 backup cans of paint, so I've got plenty. And I'm not going to worry about getting a super even thick coat on here because we are going to cover it up. And I don't want another run like I had. I had 2 runs because I sprayed just a hair too much paint.
Yeah, when you're doing this type of thing with paint, the same as you're doing with spray on lacquer. Lots and lots of coats, very, very thin. Lots of thick coats, dusty will run.
It's something I figured out with lacquer. All these people talked about they used 3, 4 coats and had this heavy glass looking finish. And I was using 20 coats and still didn't have it quite as thick as what it looked like theirs was. That's what I figured out it was. They were using heavy coats and somehow not getting runs. I can't do that. Same with paint. If I put just a hair too much, I'll get a run every time. I can see this paint's getting close already. That's nice warm air blowing across there. Plus it's turning. It's that fresh air every time it goes around. So exciting watching paint dry, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
It beats watching grass grow, I can tell you that.
I'm not sure. I think I'd like to watch grass grow right now. It's been so long since I've even seen any grass.
I made a jig for my banjo for the tool post.
Yes, you did.
And I got the idea from Mick Hanbury, where you can actually just sit either the hairdryer or your hot air gun in there at a certain angle, and then just walk away and have the lathe turning fairly slow, and it's just there, and it takes minutes for you for the paint to dry.
And Ancient Wisdom and Modern Life has made it to the live stream. Welcome.
Good evening. Oh,
And
good afternoon.
Mike Sim has some advice for you, Doug. It dries quicker if you stand on one leg.
I was. You couldn't see it, but I was. Okay. Let's have some
Twice
fun
as
now.
fast if you hop.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about doing this with multiple colors, but I thought since this is color shift, one will be plenty. One will be plenty. This, I don't know if you can hear it or can you hear it? The paint, this little plastic bottle comes with a little bead inside of there. Help you shake it up really good. And since I haven't used these in quite a while, they've been sitting on the shelf. I figure they need a good bit of shaking. Yeah, that paint is pretty well dry. And this paint will pretty well cover up any blemishes that are there. So I'm not too concerned. Would be a good idea to turn my...
Ancient Wisdom Modern Life says, "Hey guys, it's Tony. He logged in with the wrong account."
Okay, Tony, glad to have you.
Welcome.
Okay. Okay, why am I not spraying? Little compressor is running. It's blowing air. I bet you. I'm going to assume I'm clogged up.
That's why I asked earlier about what size needle you're using.
Whatever came with it.
Probably a 5 then.
Honestly, Ruby, it may not be a standard. Hey, Zed, may not even be a standard thing since this is a makeup airbrush.
I have something for you, Zed. Do you know why stressed out people eat a lot of chocolates and other sweets and goodies? Do any of you fellows know?
Nope.
Why stressed out people eat a lot of sweets?
Yep,
Don't know. Don't know.
that's because stress spelt backwards is desserts.
Okay. All right.
Oh, nice one. That definitely sounds like one of Zed's. Now, somebody came in there. Who was it? Tony Turns Wood.
Okay. Hey, Tony. That's
And he had the answer. Oh, you know what I picked up today? It was a new GPS to use in my van, and it's made for seniors. Not only does it tell you where you're going, it tells you why you're.
wow. Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
I need one of those that works inside the house.
Why did I
You
click
and
this
me
right?
both.
Yeah, that's what it is. I've got. Maybe. All right. This thing only alive, right?
Well, of course.
Oh, the phone had.
Did you take the needle out and clean it?
Took it partially out.
Yeah, Zed said he usually spends 20 minutes looking through his glasses only to realise he's wearing them.
That's one reason I wear contacts, Ed. uh, that's serious. Well, help my time. If I put my finger over the nozzle, it blows back.
Don't do that, Doug.
I don't have enough pressure on there to worry about it.
No, but it only takes a little bit and a prick of your finger, and you can get an air embolism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Martin's just come in. Martin Ford's just come in.
Hi,
Hey,
Martin.
And he's been house hunting in Northumberland.
Hmm.
House hunting. I don't find that fun at all. Some people love
No,
it.
Martin lives in Lincoln, and it's a fair trek. Well, yeah, it is a fair trek from Lincoln to Northumberland. So he is mentally exhausted.
Mm.
And Zed's just put his link in for his premiere later on, either this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you live.
There you go. Good job, Zed.
He's
And
turning
Todd,
up.
Todd at Glencover said the person who invented the Ferris wheel never met the person who invented the merry-go-round. They travelled in different circles.
I bet they did. Oh, tell you what, they don't get any better, do they?
No.
It's that size needle, Ruby.
Yeah, I can tell exactly from here. I
I
have
guarantee-
what do you call it? A pipe cleaner, and I push that down through the airbrush for cleaning it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I
Well,
tend to do is blow through with methylated spirits or
right.
denatured alcohol.
Yeah. Which I just did water and it wouldn't go through. Let's go ahead and spray some alcohol in there. I usually do that after I've used it, but I must not have this last time. No, it's still not spraying.
Now, Zed's put in a joke about toilet paper. I saw a similar joke on Facebook about toilet paper and eggs. And he said his kids were contemplating the shortage of toilet paper during COVID. I told him that when I was a kid, toilet paper was so plentiful and cheap, we used to throw it at the homes of our enemies. The same with eggs.
Yeah, absolutely.
We would throw it at our friends' homes.
Yeah, do that too.
And Bert's Bowl says he rubbed some ketchup in his eye and now he has great hindsight.
Oh,
Wow.
oh. I did a mission trip to the home of Heinz years ago. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, Heinz started here in Canada, not far from where I live. Just so
Here
you
we
know.
go. Here we go. Canadian American arguments again.
Well, it's a fact. It was just a number of years ago that they were bought out by an American firm.
Oh, great. Now it's not pulling the needle at all. Okay, I know how to fix that. I think. Right. Give me half a second here. I think I know where it is. I've got another airbrush. It's a little better quality.
And
I'll throw
Carson
my.
said,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, Todd, go on.
I was going to say I'll throw my brother under the bus since he's not here to protect himself. And with Heinz, I saw him put Heinz 57 on a ribeye 2 or 3 days.
No, he
And,
didn't.
Oh my.
Oh
life.
my gosh! I thought I was going to lose it.
Now, if it wasn't a very good steak, I could see it, but
Now, Carsten
Well.
has said he had to visit the emergency room. He bought a stick deodorant and it said unscrew the cap and push up bottom.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't know
And
where that other...
Mike has said he went for a job in Newcastle one time. He got off the train. He felt the wind off the North Sea. That's pretty good, since how it's about 8 to 10 miles away from the North Sea. He went to the pub by the station and didn't bother with the interview.
Mm-hmm. All right, everything seems to be working correctly. What's going on here?
Todd at Glen Clove says outside St. Louis is the largest ketchup bottle. It's really a water tower. Now, I grew up in the St. Louis area in Bridgeton, Missouri, and then moved out to St. Charles County, Wentzville, but I don't ever remember a large ketchup bottle water tower.
Well,
Brian said to Martin, good luck with the house hunting. And Martin's come back with, thanks, Brian. I think we found a place with an office at the bottom of the garden, which will be the workshop. The whole place is quite quirky, but that's the attraction. Whereabouts in Northumberland, Martin?
And Zed said that the worst traffic jam in Canadian history happened when 4 Canadians arrived at a 4-way stop sign at the same time and no one would go first. I've experienced that, Zed.
Now, Steve is asking if your airbrushes are dual action. They certainly look dual action.
No, it's single
No,
action.
they're not.
Yeah,
What
this
is-
one is like I said, this is a makeup airbrush, and so that can't be the problem.
What air pressure are you using?
I thought you were pressing down then pulling back.
Well, I do, but it's No, there's air constantly coming out.
What
It's
do you
just
have the pressure set at?
I don't set the pressure. It's probably 10, 12 at the most.
Usually 20 is about what you would run it at. 15 to
Yeah, if I could adjust it. This has no adjustment.
Hmm.
Okay, let's try this again. If this doesn't work, we'll go back to brushing because I'm not seeing that other airbrush. I've got a brand new one. I've never even taken it out of the box. Just don't know where it is right offhand. I thought it did.
The best laid plans of mice and men.
Exactly, and that's not going to work. This thing's it's strange. It is strange. The needle's got to fit through a piece on this trigger. If it doesn't fit through,
Then it doesn't work.
the trigger doesn't do anything. Yeah, it just flops. Doesn't go through there. It goes through there. Where does that go?
There are two little holes that it has to line up with and go through.
Well, there's a slot in the back side here. It just goes through. Um, well, fiddly dee. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll take all this, put it in.
No. Micah said, I don't know if he's referring back to when he went to Newcastle for an interview, but he said he got so drunk in Newcastle, he missed the last train home, and the locals had a whip around and got him a hotel room. See, that's us. That's us from the northeast. Very,
Now,
very friendly.
wait a minute. You have to explain what a whip around is.
That's where everybody puts some money. Everybody in the company puts some money together to give to you.
They chip in.
Yeah, everybody chips in. Yeah, that's a whip around.
To wrap up this catch-up deal, I'm on the Missouri side in St. Louis, and Collinsville, Illinois, where that water tower was, is on the other side of the Mississippi River. Those are like, that river's like a place you just never cross it. But it was Brooks Ketchup, Brooks being the brand, and Brooks Ketchup in St. Louis area was more popular than Heinz and Hunt's and all the others.
Yeah,
Collinsville.
Todd's answered Lucy there, seeing the catsup and ketchup are the same thing. Yeah, basically they are. So Martin is moving to a place called Stamfordham, which is a small village north of Corbridge. South Northumberland, not that far from Chesley Street, which is where I grew up. Just north of Hadrian's Wall. It'll be about 15 mile away, I would think. 15, 20 mile away from Chesley Street, I think. Now, as Ed has said, Murphy's Law is what Doug's going through at the moment. Is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And
That's exactly
coleslaw
right.
is thinly sliced cabbage and mayonnaise.
Tony Turns Woods convinced not to buy an airbrush now, and I would say don't let that convince you, because
Absolutely
airbrushes are
not.
fun.
You know,
They are.
you can get some very, very good deals with airbrushes. I bought a set of airbrushes from Wish, I think it was, which was 6 airbrushes. Now I'm going back a lot of years here. At the time, it was about £85. That's British pounds for a set of 6 airbrushes. I think they're up at about £125, £130 at the moment, which is still not bad for 6 airbrushes.
Now, this is a better quality. That other one was, like I said, it was a makeup airbrush.
Now,
I got to get this one adjusted so it'll actually spit something out.
before I would brush onto your piece, I usually have a piece of paper that I try it out on to the side first.
He's got a nice middle part of that bowl sitting there that he's probably going to cut away. He could use too.
Right.
That
right.
would be an excellent idea, Todd.
Yep. That's the idea.
Yeah, Mike says
Well,
probably about 20 miles down the A1.
It might
Tony
be
turns.
too,
Sorry,
it,
go on, Ruby.
the paint might be too thick to go through for the size of needle, and you don't have enough pressure to get it through. And I think that's maybe where your problem is.
well, it shouldn't be. And because this is airbrush paint, it's meant to be sprayed directly
cold is
through
it?
an airbrush. It's not terrible bad here in the shop.
Might thin it up a little bit.
Mm-mm,
No.
no. What I do is to make sure it's the right consistency for going through, I take a nylon stocking and I put it over the bottle and I drain the paint through the nylon stocking, and then I know that what goes through is thin enough to go through the brush.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this would go through a nylon stocking for sure. All right, get that in there. There we go.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Zed saw a news story where a kid asked Elon Musk if he could send his pet duck to space. Elon said, yeah, they probably could, but the bill would be astronomical.
Right now, Lucy has said something about Lowestoft, which is on the east coast, the North Sea. They said it was the coldest place. Hang on, I'll just go back. The coldest place she's ever been. And she's also come back and said, Mike, the wind comes straight off the North Sea. I forget how many layers I had. And Martin said, Lucy, when you and I have multiple layers on, the Geordies are out in their t-shirts. Yeah, I mean, it's been sunbathing weather here for me today.
Yeah, it was here too. It was only about 20 below.
All right.
It's about 44 Fahrenheit here in Dallas today, and
44. You're that warm?
I got criticized at lunch for being in shorts.
Well,
We're
that's
19.
really short weather. You could go swimming with weather that warm.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, there's been a couple of comments about the M1 which is one of the main motorways in the UK. Tony Turnswood said when he worked in the UK, my co-workers always said nothing fun at the end of the M1. And now the M1 used to finish in Leeds, but he's also gone on to say, I always loved their great food, nice folk, and who doesn't love the Angel of the North? And if you haven't seen the Angel of the North, Google it.
Now, Doug, another way you could apply that paint would be to take a piece of paper towel, scrunch it up, or even a piece of saran wrap, dip it in the paint, and then just pat it on.
Yeah.
Oh, nice texture idea. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you in the UK, saran wrap is cling film.
Yep.
Yes.
And I have done a couple of lives using cling film.
You have. You've also used bubble wrap. You've used
balloons.
Sponges
yes.
really well.
Sponges.
Especially sponges that have big holes in them.
Yeah, they're proper sponges.
I have, the first time I did this kind of thing was, well, with the Joe Sonias. I I reached down in my trash can and pulled out a chunk of plastic and just wadded it up. And it worked very, very well. And you know what? Nobody's ever asked, what'd you use to put that paint on with? they don't know. They have never seen it before, so. This brush I'm using is just a really cheap one. Those of you familiar with the dollar store, I guess in England it'd be called the pound store.
Pound store or the range.
Yeah, I bought probably 15 or 20 of these brushes for like $2. So yeah, they're not high quality at all. I'm taking my paper towel in the cut edge. It's a little softer, a little more ragged. I'm gonna just kind of coiling this up, and we're just gonna give a little texture to the paint.
Now, Zed has said the frame rate on this video is making the brush look like a fork when he's brushing. Yeah, I saw that, Zed.
Like a fork.
Yeah, there was the way you were putting the paint on with the brush. It actually looked like it was a fork you were using, not a paintbrush. Yeah, yeah, it's doing it now.
Huh. Okay.
What it is you're getting multiple images of the brush.
Gotcha. Put a little more paint on here.
Yeah, it's a trail of brushes.
Sure. I don't know what YouTube's doing to us today, but apparently they're doing something. And then I was going to do something else, but I think I'll play with these airbrushes and see if I can't get at least one of them working. It just went through my mind. This is Stewart Furini right here.
Oh, definitely. You've just gone past the hour, Doug.
Okay. All right.
In case you were wondering.
All right. I was, in fact, curious as how long we wasted on that stupid airbrush that has never let me down before till today.
Well, of course, it only happens during a live.
Exactly.
Now,
all right.
for people who are wanting to try different paint techniques and everything, Stewart Furini is a great guy to watch. But if you want to go and buy something cheap, you can probably get it in the dollar store over in the States. You can get them in the range over here. I'm not too sure about the pound store, but definitely the range. These different sponge type things on rollers. So you get different painting techniques, and they are absolutely brilliant to use on wood turn if you want to try different coloring techniques.
Absolutely. I'm not sure. It seems I don't remember where you told us you got your paints like these. Just so y'all can see.
I can't remember where I got them, to tell you the truth.
And that doesn't really tell you. Vallejo, Vallejo. I ordered mine. No, I didn't. I got these at Michael's, I believe it was. There's the box that they come in called Space Dust.
Space Dust. You might be able to get them on Amazon.
Maybe, yeah. Seems like I got these at Michael's. I was looking for the Joe Sonias, and I found these and went ahead and got them. Then I had to order my Joe Sonias. All right.
Thank you, Lucy. Much appreciated.
Yeah, that same variety box is available on Amazon.
Okay. All right. And again, started my hair dryer away from the piece, and I've still got dust on there.
You can get on the Space Dust ones. You can actually get Different, yeah, but different formulas. It's not just Space Dust. You can get other ones as well from the
Yeah.
same company.
All right, that's got it fairly dry. Just take out a little bit of this so you can see, you can get the idea where we're going.
Dale has said that bubble wrap works well, and he
Oh, it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
It works really well. And the thing is, with bubble wrap, you can get bubble wrap in different sizes, so you can get different techniques using different types of bubble wrap.
Are you going to put a score line on the outside and on the inside of the blue?
Wasn't intending to, but I was thinking about it.
The only reason I mention it is you've got a nice contrast between the blue and the white.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh dear. Wayne, we didn't know. Zed is congratulating you on your last Disco Dan video. He had no idea you could still do the splits. And in
I
uniform shoes, no less.
To tell you the truth, Ruby, I can never do the splits.
Jamie made you do one on the on some of his outros there.
Oh yeah.
That's probably what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what Jamie does.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I could do them, but that was back in ancient times.
Ruby, I'm trying to work through in my mind the score line that you asked about. Would that score line be in from the edge or on the transition?
No, it would be one around about a centimeter or half an inch in from the outside edge, and one about half an inch in from the inside edge. So basically, just using a diamond type tool, just
Or a pyramid tool.
or a pyramid tool, yeah, just to put a couple of highlights in there.
Okay, so it would leave a little color around both sides of those score lines.
Yes, it would leave a little color around the bowl, until you got the where you've put the diamond tool in, and it would leave a little color on the outside edge as well.
And Pete Ravenscroft has joined us. Good morning, Pete.
Morning, Pete.
And right now, Doug's using his Easy Wood detailer to accomplish the same job.
Looks like you've turned that on its edge a little bit, or is that just the video?
It's just the video. There's
Okay, you're flat. Okay.
Yep.
So there you go, Todd. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was envisioning, but I was wanting to make sure.
Well, it's good that you asked.
Yeah, it needs a little more right through there. It's a little thin. But other than that, and that gives you just some borders a little bit. Need to come back and just touch that edge real quick. It's probably just some sandpaper to take care of that. It's a little rough anyway. But anyway, we got the idea. That color looks horrible, but that's because it's just because. I didn't let it dry good, and I got some dust on it, but it's okay. But anyway, you got the idea now. I'll come back and piddle with that. Darn it, I meant to bring that bowl from last week. I got it finished yesterday. With being sick and everything.
Gav said he is just coming as well. Good evening, Gav.
Hi, Gav.
Hey, Gav. Ooh, that picture even in StreamYard is grainy, isn't it? Holy cow. Wonder what that's all about. I've never seen that before.
Might be some snow interference.
Possibly. Even though it's a bright, sunshiny day right here, right now. But anyway, it's good to have you all here. Unless you guys have some more questions, I'm going to call it here. It's 4:11 my time, 9:11 in England. And I know some of you like to go to bed, so I do too.
Yeah, Todd had suggested you could texture on the very outside of the blue part where the paint is lighter.
It's so not really. It's just the light because it curves. It's just a slight curve. But yeah, you could put a little texture in there if you wanted to. I don't really want to.
I think it might be a little overpowering and too much detail.
Right. With the line here, it would be. But anyway,
I can't see any questions coming through at the moment. Some nice compliments, but no questions.
That gives you just another idea. Some folks have said, I hadn't thought of that before, or I haven't done it that way before. Just another way of putting paint on with these iridescents, metallics even, a coat of black, usually black gloss is what they call for, and then putting that color on there. It really helps it show through. This color, I've put it on bare wood. It looks nice, but doesn't look this nice. And this doesn't look really good because it's got dust in it all over it. Wasn't quite dry. And I didn't have dust in my hair dryer. It was on the lathe and it blew up. So that's where that came from. So, and I can see it. You really can't see it on the screen so much, but I can see it. It looks terrible. Just a quick cleaning and another layer of paint, and it will be much, much, much better. And finishing out the bottom. I've got the bottom about a third of the way done is all. It's full of dust even. Goodness gracious. Wow. Don't know where all that dust keeps coming from.
Well, I know where mine came from. It all came from Maggie lying underneath my lathe.
Ah, okay. Blame it on the dog. There we go. Ruby didn't have all of her.
Here I'm back.
Oh, me. Yeah, you're back. I just wanted to bring everybody in for just a second. Let them see your smiley faces. There we go. There's mine. We're all there together now. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming along. I'll get this finished up and get it on the socials here in hopefully in the next day or two, and we'll get that out so you can see the finished product. But it won't look a ton different from what it does right now. I'll put some wax on the outside. After that dries completely, I'll actually abrasive paste and wax on the outside and on the inside of the bowl where I turn the center out. This out here, I'll redo that so that it's nice and clean and get some gloss lacquer on that. So with that, unless there's anything else, we're going to call it an evening. Good to see everybody. I'm looking forward to going back through the chat. I do that most of the time, so that'll be a lot of fun. In fact, I need to bring it up before it goes away.
Who'd have thought we'd talk about ketchup?
Yeah. Sometimes, not most weeks, but sometimes we do talk about different food products. But
for a while, it was every week.
That's the first one ketchup's come up.
Yeah. It's usually something odd like haggis or or blood pudding or pies, steak pie. Yeah, steak pie sounds good to me right now. Yeah, all right, I've got a pork butt out on the smoker right now. I've got to go get some wood chips in it, get more smoke rolling. So it's been good to see everybody. What's that, Wayne?
Have a good night.
Very nice, Doug.
I'm ready
Yeah.
for a pulled pork sandwich.
Well, sometime this evening it'll be ready. I
We'll
hope it's
all,
ready by
we'll
supper
all
time.
be over, Doug.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, let me say thanks for coming along. Do hit the thumbs up button on your way out. If you would, after you go out and we end the stream, if you'll come back in and drop a comment in the comment section, that helps the channel. Honestly, it helps the channel more than anything else you can possibly do, other than subscribing. Subscribing is the absolute best. So let me just say that. And with that, we'll all say good night, and we'll see you again next week, if not sooner.
Thanks,
Good
Doug.
night.
Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.